DJ, what's your song right now, man? While we get started.
Man, I've been listening to Lil Baby, man. Like crazy.
that's what gets you hyped from day to day. Well, I love it, man. Well, happy Thursday to everyone, man. Network and chill back in the building. It feels good. Happy Black History Month. It's been a good time, man. I'm excited for the year. I'm excited for this conversation. I'm excited for the work that's been going on. So, with that being said, hey, I'm Chris Red. I am joined today with my partner in crime, my co-host Ricky Mason, being the cameraman today, making it happen for us all. It's been a great month, man. Exciting times, and so hold on 1 second. You're going the wrong way. Bring it back up. There you go. I want to give the floor to my man, DJ. You came in through a HBCU Hub, and I want you to start off with an introduction to yourself and tell us what you're working on.
All right, man. I'm Dr. Darrius Brooks, DJ, as he said, Chief Connection Officer for HBCU Hub. I'm going to dive into what HBCU Hub is for those who aren't familiar. We want you to get familiar. So HBCU Hub is I ain't gonna say basically, it's the world's first app connecting high school and transfer students directly to admissions counselors and coaches at HBCUs all over the U.S. Brainchild of the Grambling State University pitch competition for my man Jonathan Swindell. Shout out to Jonathan, our CEO, founder, and lead developer, Jay Money. He's a Grambling State alum.
Shout out to the engineers.
Yeah, came up with this idea, man, in his dorm room. We have similar stories. It's crazy how the universe works. So I was admissions counselor at Tennessee State University, recruiter, so to speak, going around traveling the U.S., getting students, teaching students about Tennessee State University, trying to get them to come to Tennessee State University. And I would notice, man, in some regions of the world, we wasn't getting any traction. Like it was like tumbleweeds at our table in some regions of the world. And my creative genes got to turn like, man, what's going on? And so started to talk to some of the students on certain coasts, like the West Coast, the East Coast, and they just didn't know what an HBCU was. And
Hey.
like any great business, man, you find a problem and you create a solution, and that's your business should be a business model, create solutions for problems.
Yeah.
And so my wheels got to turning, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be dope to have a central location where students can learn about HBCUs, apply to HBCUs, and just get that HBCU culture. And started doing my research to make sure there wasn't anything out there that was already, established and things of that nature. And I came across HBCU Hub. And when I came across the HBCU Hub, researching me, I downloaded the app, got familiar with the functionalities, and I was like, man, this is exactly what I wanted to create. But let me reach out and see if there's any, I'm all about partnerships. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel if we don't have to.
Right.
And so I reached out to Jonathan, and man, good brother, he got back with me in like 2 days.
Yeah.
That's how he was about business, and in that startup phase, he understood that partnerships and, like you said, networking is like it's vital to any business. So we set up a meeting, and we chopped it up, exchanged stories, bounced some ideas. And long story short, man, by the end of the meeting, he was like, man, I don't know if you're open to it, man, but we could really use your expertise. You have a background in recruitment from Tennessee State, from HBCUs, Alabama. We can really use your expertise on the team. Yeah. So, man, the universe connected us, and here we are.
Man, you said some great things there. I mean, I went to Kentucky State University, so HBCU. So the first thing that comes to mind that, the lack of knowledge around, essentially what HBCUs are, right? And how important they are for Black history in general and education in itself, right?
Yeah.
But also, I think it's really impactful to see, right? I think a lot of times people see an ideal, right? And we get in this mindset of wanting to do it on our own, right? And so the partnership and collaboration piece where you said, hey, find the idea, find somebody else who's already doing the idea. And instead of replicating the wheel, let me go find out how I can be a part of that journey and make that change, right? And so I think that's a powerful thing because, we were talking about this other day, like, the amount of times that we just see multiple people playing in the same playground, right? And they don't work together.
Right. Man, I look at it like I'm a sports guy, so I kind of attribute everything to a sports reference, man. I was telling someone about collaboration and egos and things of that nature. The dynasty of the Chicago Bulls, everyone played a role. Like Phil Jackson, it wasn't that he was just that great of a coach, but he knew how to manage egos and attitudes and bring the best out of the players that he had. Like you can't coach a Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You can't coach a Scottie Pippen or Dennis Rodman. You just can't. Those are natural talents that but you have to know how to manage egos, play the right personnel to get Michael Jordan to be Michael Jordan, to get Dennis Rodman to be Dennis Rodman. And that's what it's all about, man. When I was telling someone like I had the idea of creating an app called HBC Match, but at the time I was director of student support services at U of L. My wife was pregnant. We were trying to buy a house. Like I had so much going on. There was no way I could be founder and CEO of a company.
Yeah, and that's
no way.
And that's like really cool to know, and for the founder, the developer to recognize like, hey, bro has something to bring to the table, and we can really collaborate and take this to the next level. I mean, especially I can see like with your experience, being a recruiter already. And knowing that whole world, having those connections, like how huge that was for the growth of HBCU Hub, from just app and concept to know someone in this field who has experience in this field, understands the mission and can help us carry that out.
Yeah, man, shout out to Jonathan again, man. We have a fantastic team. We call ourselves the Fantastic Four. It's myself, Jonathan Swindell from Grambling. We got Cameron that went to Grambling, and then we got Jeanette. She's currently a student at Howard. So it's all HBCU grads working together, using their talents, time, efforts, advocating for not only HBCUs, but also exposing our Black and brown youth to HBCUs and giving them another option. So what we say, what we're doing is closing that opportunity gap through technology.
Yeah.
So let's get into the details a little bit, right? Walk us through, right? Like the ideal candidate for HBCU Hub, right? And, the gap in the market that you're really filling, right? And I think you touched on based on some of that, right? But who, how, if I'm new to the app, how should I utilize it? How should I work with it?
So, man, it's first and foremost, it's a free download on Android and iPhone. That's number one. That's key. It's absolutely free to the student. Once you download the app, you're creating a profile like you do on any other app, like your social media app. You're creating a profile. Once you create your profile, there's functionalities that you can do within the app. We just implemented our HBCU matchmaker. So basically, we ask the student a series of questions, and it's all individually preference questions like, are you looking for a public or private institution? Are you looking for a rural or city type institution? Are you looking for a residential institution? So we're basically drilling down exactly what that student is looking for in a college, and then from there it matches them with HBCUs that fit everything that they're looking for. And it's basically, man, we like everything else. We're putting the technology in the palm of your hand to get connected and accepted by any HBCU that you're looking to go to. On the app, man, we hosted virtual college fairs, and it's crazy. Hindsight in 2020, none of us knew that the pandemic was coming. Right?
Yeah.
But it's crazy how the universe works. All college fairs came to a halt. All in-person events came to a halt. HBCU Hub virtually. We're doing that virtually, and we didn't miss a beat. We have, like I said, we hosted a college fair that had over 32,000 students come through the college fair. Each, like every other week, we're hosting virtual open houses for each HBCU. We started this semester off with Howard, Spelman, and if you follow us on Instagram at HBCU Hub, we're always advertising when the next virtual open house is. We've had College Girl JB. Shout out to College Girl JB. She does the financial aid and financial literacy portion of getting students to college, specifically HBCUs. So she hosted a workshop on there about financial aid and financial literacy. We post scholarships, man. So we're like your one-stop shop for HBCUs.
So once you're that matchmaking process, right? What happens next after I'm matchmaking? So if I'm looking, I get matched up with Hampton, Jackson State, Tennessee State, right? And what's the next steps from there?
Now you start to research those schools directly from the app. Everything is directly from the app. We have it where once you match those schools, you click on it, it takes you directly to all of their information. We have the counselors on as well, so you can start chatting directly with the counselors from the app. Everything is done from the app, so you don't have to. We often get the runaround on things, and I'm not gonna just say HBCUs at all schools. They tell you to go see financial aid. Financial aid tells you to go see. No, we want you to do everything from your app. So we live in a generation where everything is instant. If it's not instant, you lose it.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't want to take your attention off the app. So you can do everything from the app.
And I think about that matchmaking and how huge that is for even someone like me when I was coming out of like high school, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to go to a school that has an engineering program and they need a decent football team, maybe a D1 football team, because I'm trying to, do both. And I know for me, I mean, in my quick search, I couldn't find or didn't know of any HBCUs that offered engineering and, a D1 football team. So that was kind of really, I kind of X'd, HBCUs kind of off of my list because I didn't know where to go or I didn't know of any that offered that. So, if we had HBCU Hub back then that would have been huge for, me on the connection side for academics, and then on the sports side, a completely different,
Yeah, man, you probably would have ended up at Tennessee State.
Yeah, there you go.
D1 football team, the most NFL players in the league from any HBCU, and a dope engineering program. But like I said, that's what this app is all about, man. Like answering those questions that students are looking to research. We're trying to bring it in one central location. Jonathan always talks about the data management, the lack of proper data management, being a hindrance in a lot of HBCU programs.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that he's adamant about is collecting that data and managing it properly.
Is that the value proposition that when you go into these different schools like a Spelman or a Morehouse, right, and to be able to do that, is that the business proposition and the value add that allows those HBCs to start working with you all?
Yeah, so basically we're your 24/7 recruiter. Students are always downloading the app, so our recruitment process doesn't stop. Student may hear about HBCU Hub at 2 a.m. and be like, oh, let me download it. That's invaluable. Like that's an invaluable asset that it's a 24/7 recruiter.
And you can ping those students at any time. Like, when you have that information, like you're interested in Jackson State, you're interested in Grambling State, and I'm tracking you over from your freshman year of high school through your senior year. I see your progress, your transcripts. I can kind of, start to, okay, these students they got these grades that I'm looking for. They're doing things I'm looking for. Let me start hitting them up. Let me invite them to my campus. Let me, touch them a little.
Everyone likes a little competition. So and I'll just use some HBCUs here in Kentucky, for example, that people may or may not know about. You got Kentucky State, you have Simmons College, right? So if a student got on and said they was interested in Kentucky State, Simmons College can look at students who were interested in any HBCU from a 50-mile radius. competition part comes in like, hey, I saw you interested in, Kentucky State and Frankfurt, but hey, we're 40 minutes away in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
So everyone likes a little competition, so it's a little bit of that in there. It's a lot of incentives for not only the students but the universities as well.
Yeah, and I feel like, man, the other feature that I feel like is next level for you all is, like I said, directly connecting not only to the counselors, but I know we were talking about directly connecting students to coaches. So you can directly send film to a coach at HBCU in the app. So if you send in this coach your film, like I said, over the years, and they're able to keep up with you right there in the app, and they can chat with you and whatnot. Like that's huge.
Yeah, that's one of the features that's on the app. We ask students, 3 prongs of communication. So not only a phone, email, but your social media. We ask them to upload a video to kind of, tell the world about themselves. Because we all know that interpersonal communication is big now. Universities want to see, like they get a lot from your introduction of yourself, the type of student they think you're going to be, and things of that nature. So yeah, the video upload is a big thing. Like, man, we're just trying to connect all the dots and make it a seamless process.
And you said the social media, so you can put your social media handles in there, and the recruiters or whoever can go and check you on social media too, just to kind of make sure, they're touching all the bases. That's cool.
The students can also chat with each other. So if you got accepted to Tennessee State, I did, and Chris did, and we didn't know each other, but we know each other on the app. We can talk about, are you really going? You want to set up a tour?
Yeah.
About being roommates? Like you handle all this stuff before even touching the campus.
That's cool. That community connection right around that. Yeah. I'm curious to all those pieces early on with the connection, right? Does that play an uptick with scholarships that maybe students didn't know about, or that competition you talk about between different universities to offer scholarships to students as well?
Yeah, so there is a portal on there. I would call it other HBCU news, where we keep them abreast of changes in education policy, things that are going on at HBCUs, different homecoming dates and scholarships, like all that is on there.
Yeah, so right now you all are doing the live events for students, bringing them on with the live recruiting events for certain schools and colleges. So what's next? Where are you all moving next with the platform, with recruitment, and with helping those colleges meet those students where they are versus what's happening now?
We're introducing what we call communicators.
Okay.
So with our HBCU Hub communicators, we're looking to partner with any place of business or organization where students frequent. Anywhere that a transfer student or a high school student may visit, shop, get their hair cut, we're looking to partner with them and put our HBCU Hub communicators. So it's a poster with a QR code, and the student can simply scan the QR code, and it takes them directly to the app where they can do the matchmaker and basically just get abreast of what's going on in the app, get acclimated with the app straight from their phone and that QR code. So you don't have to go search and download, you just scan it and go.
So you look.
We're trying to put those in every high school
Yeah.
district in America.
Yeah.
Every high school district, every community college, barbershop, whoever wants to partner with HBCU Hub, man, and spread the word about HBCUs and get our students connected, man, let's do it.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Like connecting with those other institutions to, one, get the word out there, and making it easy for students to find that information about those HBCUs, bro. That's huge.
I think back, right, in part of my senior year in high school, right, and the college tours, right, and so you get on this bus and you take this long trip, you hit up 5-7 different universities on a long weekend, right, and you get to see it physically, right, but you don't really even get the inside information like you're talking about, right, which I think is impactful, right? How does school operate? What kind of programs are they running there, right? What other students are going there? Those are the type of things I'm thinking, like, man, like, this is so useful, because it's now all of a sudden, imagine the amount of kids who can't take those college tours that are interested and want to know more, right? And now all of a sudden, like, it's different. You have somebody else talking to, you can interact with and get the real insights of a lot of different universities. It's something that I think you really tap it into. So since inception, right? What kind of uptick have you seen on the app with your users, and how is that coming so far?
Man, it's going daily. We're always, being innovative and adding new functions to the app. I know Jonathan just added with the campus view, where if you click on a school like Kentucky State, and we'll give you a campus view of different parts of the campus, so you can kind of see what that
That's
campus
cool.
looks like, things of that nature. That's a functionality that we're adding. We're hoping we can do actual like virtual tours of
Okay.
campus, like have a rep actually walk you around,
Like behind the
That's something
scenes.
that I feel like HBCUs in general should do and give us access to it. Like we have all the students on here used to just record one, let us upload it, and now it's there for when they want to do a college tour. Like
Yeah.
So man, just continue to be innovative, keep up with the times, and stay abreast of what's going on with students. Being culturally competent in what's what the students are looking for, and kind of being that liaison from okay, this is what we're seeing the trend is and what students are looking for, and this is where HBCUs have an area of opportunity to grow and capture these students and what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So just continue to push the needle, be innovative, and be that liaison between the students and HBCUs. Continue to advocate.
Yeah, I know, like, man, for me, the first time that I really, I knew what HBCU was, but the first time I really got, up close and personal and introduced to HBCUs was when I was like pledging. And it's like when you learn about all the colleges and you start learning like, okay, this is where you were chartered, this was founded here and there. And that's really where I really was like, oh, okay, I really understand like the history of behind HBCUs and the importance that HBCUs played in like the Black community. So I feel like HBCU Hub is like at this point of this new resurgence in enrollment, recruitment in HBCUs, and I think that it's just really cool to be at this place and with this change. And I think it's just going to be huge for schools to realize that a platform like HBCU Hub is really important and impactful to recruiting students now and in the future. When we just had the number one recruit, go to an HBCU.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about, I was about to tap into sports, right? In recruitment, Deion Sanders, right? And now going and coaching the HBCU, right? Yeah. Have you seen like more students like now, like, hey, thinking about, I want to attend HBCU purely as a top athlete, a top recruit coming out of high school now?
Well, yeah, man, especially since the NCAA rules about endorsements now, like you can get paid for endorsements, your likeness. And I heard Coach Prime Deion say one thing, like I'm gonna show you how to get paid.
Yeah.
Y'all know Coach Prime is top tier when it comes to getting that check.
He's top tier.
So I think it's a no-brainer because now it's almost an even playing field, so to speak. Yeah, we don't have the endorsement dollars and the huge stadiums and this, that, and the third, but I would go play for Deion if I had the option of a huge PWI or this HBC with Deion Sanders as a coach.
Yeah.
And I've saw what he's done throughout his career on the money side, the endorsement side.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. So man, I don't know, man. I just think it's coming to a point now where the athletes are understanding that they make the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it's little Black history. Back in the day, the way Alabama became a powerhouse is those Grambling States and those boys were whooping up on Alabama, man.
Mm-hmm.
Brown was like, hold on, we gotta get some of those type of athletes over here. So I mean, history repeats itself, man, and I think it's a great time.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have any insights on this already, or if you all have thought about it, right? But if we just look back to the last year, right, with the turmoil, or from George Floyd, and you've seen a lot of, like, like you said, it's like this resurgence of HBCUs, right? And a lot of them have struggled financially for many times, right? And I'm saying, as you being a conduit for on the student side, what are you guys thinking about? Have you thought about? Because Kentucky State, I'm always constantly thinking about how can we help them get more corporate dollars, and from foundations to support the school through this, like, basic stuff, like keeping the library maintained at a higher level, and recruitment in itself. Have y'all seen anything around that to say, hey, we also maybe can help facilitate some of that as well?
Yeah, man, one thing that comes to mind is, well, two things that come to mind. As HBCUs, we have to evolve and keep up with the changing times, right? So, it's the STEAM. I call it STEAM.
Mm-hmm.
Science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and mathematics, right?
Yeah.
It's the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in order to keep up with the future, we have to start offering these programs, right?
Yeah.
You have to start offering these programs, because with these programs comes the corporate dollars, innovation centers, the research money, and things of that nature. And that's another thing, research.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to incorporate research, because that's where the money comes from.
Yep.
So I think, twofold. We want students to come. We have to offer students what they're looking to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of HBCUs are catching on, because a lot of research and corporate dollars have now been put into HBCUs for these type of initiatives. The what is it? The Apple Innovation Centers. And,
yep.
Jeff Bezos' ex-wife donating money, and it's all for these futuristic type programs. So we just have to create those.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to, even reaching back again to what I was saying when I was looking in high school, for the college that I was going to go to, all the HBCUs that I came across had 3-2 programs. So for engineering, and if you're not familiar with the 3-2, that's where you attend the HBCU for 3 years, like completing 3 years of like a physics major, and then you would transfer to like a University of Kentucky for 2 years to finish up your engineering degree. So you're already signing up for a 5-year like college career in the first place. And I'm like, nah, I'm not adding an extra year. And there's no scholarship out here for a 5-year college plan. So that already put that like in the back of my mind. And that goes to say is I do think that that's one thing that HBCUs could focus on, is increasing those kind of STEM majors and access to, the majors that are gonna be jobs in the 2030s. Like, I feel like a lot of schools are behind, and it's not just HBCUs. I take UK for instance, and I'm going to go out on a limb and still say this, because I don't think that UK has even an IT engineering major, like an IT major. Like, and we're talking about as a state that we need more IT professionals, and one of our top flagship universities doesn't have an IT major. So like just things like that are really missing from the full picture when we say that we want economic development, and we want change, and we want to inspire these students and build up our communities. Then there's things that we need to do and put in place to help do that. And I think that we could start doing that at HBCUs by, like I said, expanding those STEAM programs and STEAM offerings.
And that's one thing that I love about HBCU Hub app is we wouldn't have had that problem, had we been around back then, because there are several HBCUs that have D1 football and engineering programs, but like you said, it's doing the research is hard to find.
Yep.
So we've already cut out half the battle by doing the research for you.
Yeah.
It's all there.
That's cool. You talked about, having these big virtual, like, college days, right? Up to 32,000, right? For me, I'm like that's astounding to get to that number and add that much value. Now, what were some things early on for you all that to get that growth stage up to that and reach that many students?
Man, I would say because I joined the team probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago, but it was Jonathan and the team doing the groundwork, the grassroots, being at college fairs and being at high school basketball games, anywhere that someone would let us be a vendor.
Okay.
Being there until COVID happened. So with COVID happening, it kind of forced us virtually, but we were blessed to already have some momentum going from the students that they had contacted from being on the road, and then those students spreading the word to other students and partners like HBCU Unite with Seas by Dre.
Oh,
Dre,
yeah, Dre.
Partnering again. That word partnering with other organizations that are HBCU advocates and having them bring their students on. So, man, it's been a blessing to just partner with people who are doing the work as well, that already have students that they're, either mentoring or, doing some type of counseling for, to have them, hey, we're talking about college and career, you should download these apps. So
something, I don't know if y'all have thought about this, because it's nothing like, there's no party like an HBCU homecoming, man. They keep it real, man. And like that's a true HBCU experience going through homecoming, man. Have y'all redone that virtually yet? Like, is that stuff on the roadmap, man?
Hey, man, shout out to Support Black Colleges. So they did a virtual homecoming, right? And they had a pitch competition. Idea pitch competition. And we were, selected on there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we done the virtual homecoming, and it was, I want to say they aired on like the BET YouTube channel.
That's cool, man.
So picked up some traction there. So yeah.
That's exciting, man.
Hopefully when when we're all punishment and we go back outside, we'll pull up at all the homecomings, because they, most homecomings, probably like that Thursday or Wednesday before homecoming starts, they have the big college tour. And a lot of the high school bands come down, people bring them. So we'll want to sit up and be vendors at things of that nature. One of my good friends, Blake Nathan, he runs a program called Educate Me. He did a summer homecoming, an HBCU summer homecoming, about 2 years in a row. COVID messed it up again this year, but it's in Atlanta, Georgia, where it's just like a big HBCU summer fest. It's basically bringing all the homecomings together in one place during the summer.
Man, that's cool.
We were looking to be vendors there, so man, it's a lot coming down the pipeline.
That's really cool. I mean, I don't know if I even told you this, but like my senior year in high school, rolled down with a couple of friends with the Kentucky State homecoming that week. I can remember to this day, juvenile performed, man. And hey, it was over then. I was like, I'm going to HBCU, and I got friends down here, and so I was like, yeah, this right here is the cherry on top.
I think that's one of the big things about it, bro. Is like it's showing the vibe like of an HBCU, because like once like I heard the band, I'm like, what? Like that's a whole different vibe. Like when you step out on the football field and the band is gonna be playing, it's a complete different vibe than what you experience at. I mean, even in an SEC school, I would say, like when you step on the field and the band is playing and dancing and everybody's there, like in that vibe, bro. It takes you almost back to, I would say, like Little League football. Whereas, like you play somewhere else, it's completely different, but it takes you back to Little League. Everybody's there. You can hear the people saying your name. It's like it's a vibe.
Yeah, man, the culture's unmatched, man.
Cool.
Yeah. And like I was thinking, like what we like going back to the Greek thing and showing that vibe though, like one of the things that he was talking about recruitment at like coming in high school to the college. Like I know at UK we had this thing called Come See for Yourself, where the high school students came and all the Greeks could come in and like they would do like a little 5-minute display or whatever, they would step or whatever. And I thought that was really cool. And I think like HBCU Hub and the Greeks like could be a huge, part of that, like in showing that display of the vibe and creating these kind of events on in the app, like showing students like, hey, yeah, this is how it goes down at HBCU, and this is kind of what Greek life is, because I think that also is a huge part of HBCU kind of culture and just exposing kids to that. Because like I said, I didn't know about Greek life until I went to come see for yourself at that event. And then, like I said, that opened my whole, opened me up to like Greekdom first off, and then Greekdom opened my eyes to more about HBCUs.
That's something that we've talked about frequently is adding those I would say mini commercials for HBCU. Whether we do one big one for like that kind of incorporates just HBCU culture, or if the schools want to partner and display their own next to their school, like for a small fee we can make that.
Yeah. I know y'all like the conduit and y'all like the funnel, right, for high school students into the HBCUs, right? So something I'm being thoughtful of, right? Once you get them into the HBCU system, right? Have you all even given any thought to like, hey, how do we help that student become a professional and keep them involved within the alumni network afterwards? They kind of give back to these HBCUs.
Yeah, man. We thought about all that, man. I can just say stay tuned.
Okay. I mean, I figured something that you couldn't share, but that's something I'm thinking about. We're struggle. Now, I won't say all HBCUs, but I can speak for Kentucky State that we struggle with the alumni network, right? To the point where you have, which is a constant struggle for knowing where alumni are working at, what professions they are in, how can they help, new students coming out of the organization. How can you start giving back to the school, right? Outside of just out of their alumni fees year to year, right? And a lot of HBCUs don't have endowments, right? And so how do we start creating that funnel of wealth through HBCUs as well?
I think it's a huge kind of economic development problem, in a lot of like cities. I noticed, thinking about it, is K-State, for example, everybody goes to K-State and then they leave and go elsewhere because there aren't very many jobs in Frankfurt or around or near the university. So I think that like kind of has to do with when you can keep people closer to the university where they can go back and see what's going on, then they're more likely to kind of give back. So I think like economic development around those places like U of L.
I agree, but I think traditionally a lot of that struggle outreach, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have the connections, right? So like we're talking about virtual world now, right? So just because you're in Frankfurt doesn't mean you can't have these relationships or large corporations, the funnel. And I think it's a big mark that a lot of people don't think about, because if you give people high paying jobs and get them great opportunities, they're gonna come back.
So it kind of alludes to what we like to call town and gown, right? Town and gown relationships. Get the gown, you stay in town. You get the gown, so you get the gown, you stay in town. So I put a gown in town. So it goes to exactly what you said. That's why we need to start, being in spaces. HBCUs need to start being in spaces and having, representatives at these political roundtables about bringing businesses to the city in which we can fulfill those, those jobs with our HBCU grads.
Yep.
And now you have them staying in town, which, if they're making good money coming out, they're more likely to donate back to the university.
Right.
So it's again, a partnership that has to happen. There has to be equal partners in the room. The first thing is we have to have lobbyists get in the room. I feel like every HBCU should have a lobbyist in their respective city to lobby on behalf of the HBCU when decisions are being made in the city. If we don't have people at the table, we don't know what's going to affect us or not. You know what I mean? So I feel like every HBCU should have a lobbyist that's a paid lobbyist that's their job.
Yeah.
To stay abreast of what's going on in city council, what changes are being made in the city, and to have a voice to say that's not going to work for us, and here's why. Because a lot of times they don't take into consideration the HBCUs when they're making these decisions.
That's so true.
It could be so many corporations looking to come to a city and they tell them no, but if HBCUs had a lobbyist in there, we're like, oh, we need to think about that because X, Y, and Z. But if we don't have anyone in the room.
Do you have any thoughts of getting that message to HBCUs to say the importance of having a lobbyist in the room, and the importance of that being a paid position, right? Have you started those conversations of how to put that on the radar?
I haven't. It's something that I ran across in my recruitment days at Tennessee State University, which wasn't that long ago. I would say about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
just something that I noticed because we had this thing called TSU Day on the Hill, which
Okay.
is Capitol Hill in Nashville.
Yep.
Where they, let us come in and display all the great things that TSU. But then I started talking to individuals that work in the Capitol, and it's always, always good to talk to an older gentleman. I was talking to an older gentleman who had been working their security detail for, a very long time, and he's gotten to know, everyone that comes in and out. And he kind of alluded to, us not having the lobbies. And all the other PWIs did. And, my wheels started turning like, man, that's probably why, some of the conversations of things happening, we know when it's too late or when it's already happening.
Exactly.
So I can only imagine that it's like that, across the U.S. when it comes to HBCUs.
Yeah.
Where, and it's no fault to the HBCUs because they're trying to stay afloat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have big fish to fry.
Yeah.
So, just to put that out there, maybe that, we should all look into making sure we have lobbies.
Good point. That's a really valid point. Cause I never even put into that context. I thought about that, right? And so I know there's some pieces behind the curtain that we're missing. I'm learning from you today. Say, hey, how can we put those pieces together and make a better, ecosystem for HBCUs altogether?
Yeah, but I mean, I think like HBCU Hub is like a start, a good place to be, and I mean. I can't help but think back to like how big like Greek shenanigans and stuff like that blew up just from HBCUs.
Yeah.
And HBCU Hub is kind of I see it as like a big brother of like a Greek shenanigans where you kind of you're bringing more publicity to the good stuff that's going on, in colleges and HBCUs and bringing that connection to the high school students, to the college students and bringing those together and meshing that gap. Like, I think that is like a big thing that HBCU Hub can do, and it is doing, and is going to be a part of kind of in the future.
We're working.
Well, we're excited, man. As we, wrap out, I don't want to keep you too long, man. What are you excited about next, man? I think we're coming off a weird 2020, right? Like, what's you're excited about for 2021? And
honestly, man, I'm excited to get back in front of students and promote HBCU. I don't know why I think in my former life I was like a entertainer, like a hip-hop. I want to hit the road like I'm on tour.
Hey, I'm going with you.
Start on the West Coast, make my way down south, and just advocate for HBCUs, HBCU hubs, get as many students on the platform as possible, and help as many HBCUs recruit as we can.
Give us an invite, man. Like,
man.
Prior to, so have y'all been on the road? I mean, have you personally been on the road already for HBCU? Okay.
When I started to come aboard, we were, working on some functionalities and planned on hitting like the CIAAs and all this, and then man, COVID hit. But prior to Jonathan and the team, they were everywhere, man. Big or small, nothing's too small for us. We do church, career and college days. We do everything, man. Like we're everywhere.
Hey, you mentioned CIAA, man. I lived in Charlotte, man, and I hate to see it go now. That's leaving out of Charlotte, man. This weekend is my birthday, February 29th. And every year, CIAA used to fall on my birthday weekend. And the 2 years there, I had two great birthdays with CIAA weekend.
Funny story, man. I've never been to CIAA until the past one that they had.
Yeah, the last one.
Me and my frat brother, my line brother, were debating because he had been like several times. He was like, man, we really will just go down Saturday and leave Sunday. I was like, cool. We were debating because we went to a day party Sunday. And we were debating should we stay another day. Had I known that would have been my last trip before COVID, because that was February.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to stay one more day, man, right? Yeah, so I'm curious to see how that goes next year. I think, was it Baltimore now? Is it moving to? Yeah. I want to get up there, but I mean, I think my time in Charlotte that will always be special. So I hate to see it go, man. Well, cool, man. You got anything else before we wrap it up?
No, man.
Yeah.
Dope,
bro. it's good seeing you, man. I'm looking forward to, hey, we got to catch up again soon, man. I only had the pleasure for us to hang out once in person, and I definitely enjoyed our time together. I look forward to continue building a strong relationship with you. I continue to see great things out of HBCU Hub, man. I'm excited, man, for you all.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us, sharing your platform. Anyone who knows someone, tell your sister, brother, cousin, auntie, niece, whoever's thought about going back to college and thought about an HBCU. Never too late, never too old. Sign up for HBCU Hub, and we'll get you connected.
Give us the website, man, and give us your information so people can contact you as well.
All right, so my Instagram is at I am DJ Brooks, and our Instagram for HBCU Hub is at HBCU Hub, and that's on all platforms, so you can find us. You can download the app; it's absolutely free on Android and iPhone. Shout out to the Apple Store, man. It had us ranked 92 amongst all educational apps in the world. We made the top 100.
That's dope, bro.
Shout out to Apple for that. As we always say, man, just trying to close that opportunity gap through technology, man. HBCU Hub.
Man, we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, bro. You have a good one, man, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, bro.
All right, thanks.
All right, bro. Peace.
Stop the stream.
Okay. And will I just stop it for everything?